In the previous video, we talked about creating MyOpenMath Question, where problem file is uploaded and students upload their work and that kind of thing. Today, I'm going to show you the next level of writing questions. So I wrote it into the same assignment. So I go in there. So that homework file we talked about in the last video, it's still there, and the question one was the same kind of video. Let me show you the second kind of question today. This is the one. This is not randomized. We're going to get to that eventually, but this is just a fixed problem. It's announced here, and students enter their answer in the numerical form and submit. They get either correct or incorrect. Let the vector field V with the three components, I component, J component, and K component, be a vector field. S be a parallelogram shaped surface with these four vertices written like this with certain orientation. What is the value of the following surface integral? The reason I chose this calculus 3 problem is that if you're thinking about coding this type of problem, it's going to be a lot of calculation. So for that kind of thing, you may just write it like this and ask for the answer. And in the next problem, I actually wrote exactly the same problem, same problem, but additional part is that it's asking for short or whatever the 1 page or half page of the answer to this problem. Not the answer, the solution and the work toward to this problem. In this level or higher level, students get better at handling other softwares and especially algebra systems such as Mathematica. These type of calculation can be done just using that kind of software, not really going into the necessary part of mathematics there is supposed to go through. Then you may add requiring this written part of the solution. If you do that a lot, many problem with many students, that's a lot of work, but you can still choose a couple of problems, can demand that just changes the attitude or whatever the atmosphere completely. So it is something that I recommend you to do. But let's begin with the first kind. All right, and then later I'll show you how to use in the later videos, how to use MyOpenMath to handle this kind of complicated questions and in MyOpenMath. So that's it, and I'm going to show you in the next part how to typeset. Pretty much this is about typesetting and the setting up for numerical answer. So back to this homepage mode. I'm going to enter this homework assessment where I added 2 more questions. So I go to questions there. If you go to questions, last time there was 1 problem, but I added 2 more problems in there. And I'm going to add 2 more problems in there, just copying what I did in this question 2 and question 3. All right. Again, this is the area of adding questions in an assessment. And down there, you may find add new questions. If you don't see add new question, you may have to select library and search or something like that. If it is set to assessment, sometimes this button disappears. So make sure select libraries, select certain thing, and then enter that, and there's always this add new questions. So I'm going to duplicate this question number 2 by clicking on this one. So I add new questions. So adding new questions, and let's go through step by step. However, if you're going to produce several questions again, you better go to this user setting and set the library to wherever it's supposed to go, and that is a good idea. But for individual questions, you can select a library here. Right now, it is set to writing practice. So this is going to be a copy of question 2. So I'm just going to simply say copy of question number 2, and then later I'm going to delete it. So go ahead and select the library you want and today, again, you have to think about a question type. What kind of question answer type is going to be? That was just typing in one numerical answer. I prepared it here, and that was a question. Typing in one numerical answer there. The answer is supposed here 38.5. So that is going to be number. That is a very first choice. And after I run through and then, render this question, I'm going to switch to calculated number and show you the difference between number and calculated numbers. That part is well documented, but it's very easy to explain, so I'll add that. All right. Now, today, for this problem, you have to write very simple code to this part. All this data should be prepared in here, and this area here is a question part where you're just calling the value of the variable. That could be picture, it could be number, but there is no calculation is going on here. All those should be prepared here. So all you have to do today here, this part, is just entering the answer. So here's a type $symbol answer. This is a required variable. This is declared variable, so you can't mess with it. This dollar is indication of this variable in this coding part. So answer being 38.5. That's what I'm going to do. So you prepare the answer already, or you can just copy this answer from the back of the book, whatever. So you prepare the answer. The answer is going to be 38.2. Now all you have to do is that now you typeset your problems there and put your answer box down there. All right. So let's begin with the very first question. First sentence. It's all about typesetting. And if you haven't used this LaTeX system, I'm not explaining that very much to those people. This is about those people who have already used LaTeX. If not, you can still go through panels and you can select whatever you want. So let's go ahead and typeset this first sentence, let all the way up to the vector field. Right, typeset it here. So I'm going to show you how this one looks like with a magnifier. The sentence was let, this part. And in LaTeX, we always use \mathbf. That's a boldface font of this vector v. But in this language here, you don't have to put \. It's a little smarter than LaTeX, but it doesn't have everything that LaTeX had, so it's not a fair comparison. But you can just type mathbf, and it's going to recognize it as a LaTeX command. It's going to change that v in boldface. And $ is reserved for the variable in this system, so you have to use, I'm going to call this inverse prime symbol or backward prime symbol. Backward prime symbol sounds better. So the backward prime symbol, mathbf, and -4y. And here is the vector again, I vector, j vector, and k vector. Other than that, it's pretty much self-explanatory. That's how you get and write down vector field. Apologize about the symbol, and I set up this video recorder with the hotkeys, and it means something else to this system in here. Okay, so that's how you type in. Go ahead and escape that. Let's look at the next sentence, which is this type of thing. All the subscript is an underscore part, and so I'm going to go all the way down in here and explain these two parts of a mathematics. All right, I'm back, and here is the part. So when you type S to write math type of S to write surface S, you have to put this backward prime symbol again to indicate it's not just the English letter S, is math S. And this is how you type P subscript 3, the underscore. This is quite common in other typeset systems such as Google or Microsoft. So that part's the same. And this is the same command as LaTeX. \vector, that'll put a little overline arrow, and that's how you do it. P1, P2, if you put the vec there, it'll put little vector symbol over it. And that cross product thing is simply times in LaTeX. Again, there's no backslash, and this is how it's typesetted. So let me go ahead and show you the typesetted system there. So that'll take care of this P1, P2 VAC over there times P1, P3 VAC over there. All right. So if you go back in here, if you toggle back to the editor, if you hit that, it'll allow you to type math symbols there, and you can do that using this system. But if you know LaTeX, of course, is more convenient and better. And after you go back and forth through the toggle editor, and then it'll put automatic HTML command back and forth. So even though I didn't type in this paragraph markup part in the HTML, it puts it automatically there. So it's just a bit confusing to me. So I'm just going to just delete that part and continue to the next part, which is integral. You can see I introduced a little bit of a space and things like that. Right now, I do not know how to do this automatically better than just typesetting using the typical HTML command. I'm just going to show you. Okay, by putting this entered extra line there, I create a line change also with a one line break, and this is HTML command to create a little space, this NBSP with a colon, and with that symbol all together, if you repeat 3 times, it's going to create 3 times that space, but it's a very small space. So I did a little bit of indentation. Maybe there's a better way in HTML, I don't know. Then you have to typeset that vector surface integral symbol. Again, there's no backslash. There's an integral. It does not have IINT. That's a LaTeX command to write this double integral symbol, but you have to repeat it like this. But underscore as surface integral, vector field V, boldface, C dot, again LaTeX command, vector field N, and this little space command in the math, backslash space, works here. So I use that at the A equal symbol and end of a math expression, backward prime symbol, and that's going to generate that part. And even though I changed the line in here, it's actually going to continue just like a LaTeX, unless you introduce real line break like this above here. So now I'm putting the answer box, which is the space where students are supposed to type in their answer. And that's the end of it. If you do that, then it's going to create this type of question where student answer the question. Student will not see the show answer button. This is just for the instructor, especially in this question editing mode. Then once you're done, if you hit this quick save and preview, it'll generate this type of thing so that it shows you I did something wrong as I type in that hotkey in my recording software. It messes up everything. So let me go ahead and fix that. All right, now it's fixed. So if you hit that button, it's supposed to give you the same as compiling that LaTeX file. So once this is ready, you can go ahead and save that, and that's going to create a new question. So let me go back to this question type and explain the difference between number and calculated number. So I'm going to switch back to calculated number. Let me go back to number first and show you what it does. The answer was a 38.5. So if you happen to look at the problem different way and you realize that, I don't know, I wanted to type it in this way, what it says right now is 38 plus 0.5. If it is a set to number, it's going to recognize this one as an incorrect answer. So submit here. You will see this red mark. That means it's recognized an incorrect answer. You really have to type in 38.5 exactly in this simplified number form. Then it checks as an incorrect answer in there. Now if I change that to calculated number, it'll accept 30 plus 38 plus 0.5 as a correct answer. And that's the difference. So I change that to calculated number, go back in there, and I'm going to type in 38 plus 0.5 or other, expression that this accepts with the usual operation involved, and this is going to take that as a correct answer, as you can see. So that is the difference between calculated number and a number. So I'm going to leave that as a calculated number and save that. And also I forgot to mention there, and so I'm going to preview in this part, and it's going to allow you to preview. Before, when it was a number, it does not have this preview mode. But if it is a calculated number, you can type in square root and all the other sign values even in there. And it has this preview mode allowing students to check if their expression is correct, missing the parentheses. And they meant to have this all part in the denominator, but because the parentheses is set outside, from that preview, they can detect it quickly. For example, if I meant to write 1 plus 3 like that, what the student meant, let's say the 3 plus 1, for example, is a square root of 3 and plus 1 outside, but they might be typing it like that. They know immediately that is incorrect, so they have an opportunity to change this typeset correctly and then enter, submit their answers. So that's the difference between calculated numbers and numbers. So that's a copy of question number 2. Let's take a look at question number 3. Here it is, exact same surface integral problem, and we're adding this upload your work, so making sure student didn't use computer software or copy down the answer of someone else's, and just you have to submit your work, and that's what this one's for. So let's go ahead and create the same thing, same procedures. I'm going to skip that part. So we're back. Copy of question 3, and this time the question type is different. It's neither number or calculated number. It has this number part and uploading part. All of those, more than one thing they have to enter or type in, all that goes down to multiple parts. You see if I can magnify that. There is a multiple part. That's what you have to choose, multiple part there. Go. And then answers can be typed in. So this time, if it is a multiple part, let me write it this way. I think it's a good idea to organize this answer format part toward the end. So this double slash, let me go ahead and magnify that if that works. Yeah, there it is. This double slash is a comment, so this answer format maybe, right? Then you actually begin to type in the answer. The answer we had a 2 parts, so the more preparation that goes in there. But if it is a multiple part, it must have this thing answer types in plural form. And you have to show first part is a number, second part is a file upload. Whenever you're listing data in the system, you have to use array or list. Array is better. Always use array. You can easily convert that to list later. Those are the two types is used, array and list. Similar, but they are slightly different, and you have to be aware whether your variable is in an array form or list form. So here it's supposed to be array. So you write array in there. So we're declaring first part is a number part, and second part is a file upload. So you have to put this quotation mark, automatically put the beginning and the end quotation mark. Once you get used to it, this is a very great feature. So the first answer is supposed to be number. Second answer is supposed to be file upload, and for that part is called file. All right, there are many different questions and types there. How do I know what to put it in there? And if you click on this writing questions help, and let me go ahead and pull that one down over here. And if you scroll back down, there is multiple parts there. If you click on that multiple parts, it'll show you the abbreviation. If you're doing the number, you're supposed to type in numbers. If you're doing calculated numbers, you're supposed to put calculated. And if you scroll down, and if you're doing the file upload, you're supposed to type in file there. All right, so that's what that is. So we're back to question writing mode. So the first one is going to be entering number. Second one is going to be uploading a file. And I just changed in my mind, and I'd like to change that to calculated. And it's going to be calculated number. So that's that. When you declare the answer type for the multiple parts, as you do that, the system knows how many parts are there already. If this is not matching, you're going to see sometimes a weird error message. So answer types declare the two parts of the answer. So first part, the answer is going to be 38.5. So because there are two types of answer, you have to indicate which one this is going to be. So this is numbered by this index, a numerical index. It begins with a 0. First entry here has index 0, and second entry has index 1, and so on. So this is a little inconvenient, but many systems actually use this type of index system. So the second part is a file upload, so you don't have to say anything about answer. But if it is the first part is a numerical answer, so you're giving the answer to that first part, it has to be that index. So you're giving the answer for the first part is supposed to be 38.5. Okay? Or if it has to be calculated number, for some reason you have numbers in a different form, I think you can just type in 30 plus 8.5, for example. Then it's going to calculate automatically, put it in there. All right? Or you can type in another format. Let me just stick to this numerical format there. I think that's it. Then you have everything prepared. This answer type is declared, and answer for the first part is going to be calculated. All right, I forgot, it wasn't there in the original problem, but something that I wanted to mention in here is the answer credit. If student gets the answer part correct, you want to give them 30%. And if the work is good, and then you want to put on top of that 70% on there, like that. In that case, you have to type in answer weight. You put that cursor in there and magnify. Answer weights, I think. If it is green, that means you type in commands correctly. So this is again array. A lot of things, it's several data is put into array. So you have to give a proportion into a decimal number in between 0 and 1. So the first part, just to getting the number right, you give you 30%, that'll be 0.3. The other part is going to be 0.7, and then the system will distribute the number like that. 30% if the number's right, 70%, and so on. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and type in the rest of the part. But this part is going to be very similar. We just have to put that second answer box, which is going to be upload file. All right, I have prepared everything. So what I have to do is that, all right, up to here is the same as before. Typeset of the problem, integral, all the way down there, answer box. This time it's not just the answer box. There are two answer boxes for the two-part question. First one is the 0 index, so you have to put answer box 0. And the second part is going to be answer box 1, the next index. So change the line and insert blank line in there. Upload your work there in answer box 1. Then it's going to show two parts in there. Let's test this if it is working fine. So for the first time, moment of truth. There it is. The same questions repeated. Because we chose calculated, there is this preview button. And after that line, upload your work, and they can upload your work there. All right. So this is how you create the second type of question, which is copy of 2 and 3 there. All right. Thank you.